husband. Now the media outlet that reports it says allegedly abusive husband, but she'd already had a restraining order, a protective order against the guy for abuse. So I don't think we need to allege that he was abusive. He was an abusive husband. She got sentenced to 20 years in prison. And what happened is she thought that she should get the stand your ground law. Now, that Florida stand your ground that says you don't have to retreat when you're faced with force. You can meet force with force. You can defend yourself. But because she was defending herself against this, abusive husband, when she fired warning shots in her home in August of 2010, she told police it was to escape a brutal beating by her husband, against whom she'd already taken out a protective order. But the court did not allow her to use the stand your ground defense because she had the husband was in the way. It wasn't letting her leave. She ran out to the garage to get in her car to escape the situation, but then realized that she didn't have her keys, so she had to go to to start the car or do anything. So she got the gun that she had in her car, went back into the house, trying to get her keys when the husband was still threatening her. She fires the warning shot. Now, according to her, she says she shot in the air once, prompting him to grab the kids and run out the door. But when he called 911, he said she aimed the gun at us and shot, as if the mom would aim at the dad if the kids are anywhere near the dad. That doesn't make sense. He was saying to her at the time, while he was in there, he was saying, if I can't have you, nobody's going to have you. So that was, she already felt that she was threatened, but she wasn't allowed to use stand your ground because the judge said, well, you left the place and then you went back in the place. So it doesn't sound like you were, in fear for your life if you went back to the situation. She didn't have much choice to go back to the situation. She can go anywhere without her keys, but nevertheless, her case was prosecuted by Angela Corey, who was the Florida state attorney who also prosecuted George Zimmerman. Alexander, the mom in this case, was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And because she shot the weapon, the case fell under Florida's 1020 life law that came up in 1999. And that mandated a 20-year sentence for the use of the gun during that crime. Now, the prosecuting attorney originally offered a 3-year plea deal if she'd plead guilty to aggravated assault, but she rejected the plea deal because she says, I didn't do anything wrong. I shouldn't have to plead guilty. Well, she made the wrong choice and got convicted in less than 15 minutes. The jury came back with a guilty verdict. She got 20 years. Now, needless to say, the woman is black. I mean, if the story didn't tell you that already, you probably would have guessed, right? Well, there is now an update in this story. The First District Court of Appeals has ordered a new trial for Marissa Alexander. And the reason why is it had nothing to do with the stand your ground law. In fact, the First District Court said she still couldn't use stand your ground, but they ordered a new trial because the jury instructions on self-defense were so messed up. The appeals court ruling says the jury instructions were written in such a way that they shifted the burden from the state to prove that Alexander committed a crime to Alexander having to prove she acted in self-defense. And the burden, according to the court, it says, quote, the burden never shifts to the defendant, end quote. Basically, they were finding her guilty until proven innocent. And so the appeals court said, innocent until proven guilty, give her a new trial. So we will keep you up to date on what happens with the new trial with Marissa Alexander. She's never been in trouble with the law before. She's got a clean record aside from this moment where she was trying to protect herself and her kids from an abusive husband who was saying, if I can't have you, nobody will. Physically blocking her. She'd already got a protective order. Fired a warning shot in her own home. So the judge wouldn't allow any extenuating circumstances. Let's hope this trial goes better for her. All right, time for us to take a break. It's 20 after the hour, and I hope you're stay tuned for hour 2. Toker Talk Radio is back, and we're going to talk a little Breaking Bad. I've also got music from the show just to put us in the mood, so stick around.
Oh, have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. Have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. If he said he swam to China, he would sell you South Carolina. Then you know you're talking to that reefer man.
I'm a reefer smoking Woodpipe Smoke Shop and Speakeasy is your source for cannabis community gear in southern Wisconsin. Owners Brian and Tammy Wood are located